As someone who's been into Pokemon for many years, the idea of Pokemon challenges have always intrigued me. Taking a somewhat simple and casual game about catching magical monsters and turning it into a grueling task where you spend more time grinding for the tiniest scrap of experience than actually enjoying the game. For my 1000 subscriber special, I did a Bulbasaur-only run of Leaf Green, and I'm currently doing a Randomiser Nuzlocke series in Emerald. But I wanted to try something a little different. I've been a fan of MNJTV for years. He was actually one of the biggest inspirations for me starting my channel in the first place. And I remember a video he made where he beat Pokemon Platinum without catching any Pokemon. And that was, oh my god, that's 5 years ago. I remember watching that video when it came out. Ever since I first saw that video, I wanted to try out the challenge myself, but I just never did. Until, well, I did. Yeah. And I picked Leaf Green because I know that game like the back of my hand, and I thought it would be much quicker to get through than other games, a nice way for me to dip my toes into the world of Pokemon challenges. But, to spice things up a bit, I decided to randomise the game so that I would have no idea what my team would end up looking like. And now, before we get into the challenge, let's quickly go over the rules, of which there's only really one big rule. I cannot throw a Pokeball. Essentially, this leaves only gift Pokemon for our team, which, since it's randomised, I won't know what they are before starting. I'm not doing Nuzlocke death rolls or anything, I'm done with those at the moment, and I'm allowing myself to use items in battle because I'm not a masochist. Well, not completely anyway. Now, without any further ado, I think it's time we get started. I wake up in my house after having a drug-induced dream about the local animal scientist and completely ignore my mum in favour of going into the grass outside town. I try to leave and the professor wastes no time in dragging me to his lab where I find my rival waiting. His name is Charmander because we all know that Charmander is the true rival of Bulbasaur, but the winner of that rivalry is just common knowledge. Professor Oak presents us with 3 starter Pokemon and tells me that I can choose which one I want first because I'm his favourite, which causes Charmander to throw a tantrum, but Gramps here doesn't even remember who he is anyway, so the 3 starters we're presented with are Onix, Gardevoir and Exploud. Pretty decent choices for a first Pokemon if you ask me. After mulling it over for a bit, I decide to pick Gardevoir. It's definitely my favourite of the 3 and it'll be our only team member for a little bit, so while I have the choice, I may as well pick a Pokemon I really like. No offence of course. I like Onix as well. I nicknamed her Aerith. I decided to go for a naming theme of Final Fantasy VII characters, mainly because I think Aerith was a perfect fit for Gardevoir, and it's a fun little gimmick for the challenge. I try to leave the lab, but Charmander decides he wants to battle me, and I'm soon faced with his Onix. That was honestly pretty sad. I hope this doesn't become a trend of yours, Charman. I head up to Viridian City and I'm forced to play delivery boy for the professor, giving him a parcel I got from the Pokemart. This prompts Oak to request for me and Charman to carry out a lifelong dream of his to finish the Pokedex, catch all the Pokemon from around the region so that we can have all their data and yeah, that's not happening. He even gives me Pokeballs, completely not respect to my wishes to avoid catching any Pokemon. I head back up to Viridian City and encounter a man who teaches me how to catch Pokemon. Are you in cahoots with Oak? I've told you I'm not catching any Pokemon. I need to prove myself. Prove that you don't need to catch them all to be the very best, like no one ever was, despite what everyone else says. Getting through Viridian Forest was easy enough, and I found myself in Pewter City, the location of my first gym fight. I see no reason in wasting any time, and decide to go challenge a gym with my level 14 Gardevoir against Brock's Pokemon. He first sends out a Ditto, which obviously, as Ditto does. Yeah, it really wasn't that hard to take out, even after it double-teamed. His next Pokemon was a Tauros, which I thought would be similarly easy to take out, but ended up making Aerith faint and earning me my first loss of the challenge. Yikes. I decided to get Aerith up to level 14 and try again. The Ditto was easy, like it was before, and I finally managed to take down the Tauros after a few confusions, earning me my first gym badge. I leave Pewter City and take out all the trainers on Route 3, arriving at the Pokemon Center outside of Mount Moon. And this is where we can obtain our second team member. From some pretty dodgy guy in the corner of the Pokemon Center, we can purchase a Magikarp. Since this doesn't involve throwing a Pokeball, it's completely fair game for this challenge. Huh, well, I wouldn't call that outrageous. That's actually pretty good for a fully evolved Pokemon. I name him Barrett and we begin our journey into Mount Moon. Not much of interest really happened, except when I reached the fossils. Now, since the game is randomised, I obviously have no idea what's in these, so one could be really good, the other could be awful, but I can't pick both. I'll always be left wondering what the other one was, and would it have been a better fit for the team? Did I make the wrong choice here? Should I have gone back and picked the other one? Oh god, I might have just ruined the challenge before it's even started. Anyway, I picked the Helix fossil. Upon reaching Cerulean City, I decide to go out and challenge Charman. I immediately feel outnumbered, but decide to dive in headfirst anyway. His first Pokemon was a Croconaw, and I sent out Barrett, who took it down with a couple of Fury Swipes and Scratches. He then sent out an Execute, which tried to send me to sleep, but to no avail, and fell just as quickly as his first Pokemon. Then came Zangoose, which I tried to keep Barrett in for, but it got off a quick attack that brought Barrett to 1 HP, so I very quickly switched him out for Aerith. As she takes out the Zangoose, I can't help but notice that I may be slightly overleveled, but it's okay, I think. His final Pokemon is Onix, and it's starter versus starter, but it nearly dies to one confusion and then hits itself, so it really wasn't that hard to beat. I then decide to go challenge the Nugget Bridge trainers. After that, I go help Bill with his little problem, but both my Pokemon ended up poisoned against the trainer fights, so whenever I walk through his house, the whole screen just glitches. It's like having little indoor earthquakes. After being gifted a boat ticket, I absolutely leg it back to the Pokemon Center to heal up my team before facing the second gym leader, Misty. And the first Pokemon she sends out is a Moltres. Excuse me? What? But honestly, a legendary is far less scary when your team is 4 to 6 levels higher, so... The next Pokemon she sends out is a Slowpoke, which is surprisingly on brand for a water gym. I keep Barrett in for a bit before he gets knocked down to red health, so Aerith comes in to end the fight and earns us our second gym badge. I then head to the mart to sell the nugget I got, along with the Pokeballs because I obviously won't be needing them, instead using that money on potions and status healing items. After that, I go solve a crime that the police were too useless to. I mean, there were footprints leading to where the thief went, and he wasn't exactly hiding when I went to confront him. After defeating him, I commit a crime of my own by not returning this man's disc and instead giving it to my nearly 6-foot tall bear and deciding to stow away on the nearby ship that Bill gave me a ticket for. Thanks, bud. Couldn't have done it without you. We find Charman on the ship, who I can only assume is also hiding from the law. He, however, is appalled by my accusation and prepares to fight me, but not before flexing about all the different kinds of Pokemon he's caught when he knows I'm against catching Pokemon. Oh, that's it. I'm not going to hold back anymore. The first Pokemon he had was an Articuno, but much like Misty's Moltres, it wasn't really much of a threat. Then came in Azurill, which, come on, it's Azurill. His next Pokemon was a Magmar, so I decided to try out Barrett's new Dig move, which proved a worthy endeavour, as it also very quickly took out his last Pokemon, Onix. Charman then tells us about a mysterious Cup Master, who we discovered to be the captain of the ship, who is very seasick. If you get seasick, a ship captain is a very strange career choice, but from one captain to another, I'll help. In return for my kindness, the captain gives me the HM for Cup, which I also give to Barrett. As we watch the SS Anne depart, I can't help but salute to the captain. He made no comments about my decision to avoid catching Pokemon, instead praising me for my kindness. I'll never forget you, sir. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, let's go fight Lieutenant Surge. As you watch fight the gym trainers, can I just say how much I hate this gym puzzle? It's barely even a puzzle, it's a gamble. And when you find the first trash can, you think you can finally move on and actually fight the gym. Nope, you press the wrong second trash can and the entire process has to be done again from the start. It's so stupid. I've never ever liked it. Anyway, let's move on to the actual gym fight after hours of shoving my hand into trash cans. Surge's first Pokemon is a Pineco, which went down in one confusion from Aerith. Then came a Weedle, which went down in one cut. Then he sent out an Aron, which went down in one dig. And then he... Wait, that was it? 3 moves and he's finished? Maybe he made the gym puzzle so hard because he was embarrassed by his lack of fighting skill. How did you serve in the war with this? I exit the gym, honestly, kind of disappointed at the lackluster fight, but decide to continue on my journey, cutting through Diglett's cave and heading to the Pewter Museum to grab the old Amber, which will eventually become a team member, although not till much later on in the challenge. I then head back up through Cerulean and go through Rock Tunnel to cut through Lavender Town to make it to Celadon City, where we can get our next team member. Now, I would like to quickly mention the Game Corner, since you can get Pokemon there as prizes. I considered using them initially, but decided that it would give me way too many choices for my team, which kind of defeated the point of the challenge, so I decided to just ignore them. Anyway, I decided to go and grab the Eevee in the Celadon Mansion, which actually turned out to be a Slackoth. I decided to name him Vincent, and since his level was already past Slackoth's evolution level, I decided to level him up once so I could get a Vigoroth, which didn't have Truant. Thank God, that was slowly draining my life force. With my newly evolved Vigoroth, I decided to not waste any time and head over to Erica's gym immediately. Her first Pokemon was the Sea King, who Vincent felt a little unmatched for, so I sent out Barrett to deal with it instead. And then came out Minun, so Barrett stayed in to cut instead of dig for some reason, but either way, it went well. Finally, Erica sent out a Clefable, which obviously did what Clefable does, but Aerith managed to deal with it pretty quick, and with this victory, we earn our 4th gym badge. Our next stop was the Fighting Dojo in Saffron, which presented us with the options of Carvana or Togetic. After some careful consideration, I decided to go with Carvana. While Fly would be useful, it's not necessary to beat the game, and there's no guarantee I would get another Surf Pokemon. Oh, and Togetic can't fully evolve in this game, and look at these stat differences. Yeah, I'm definitely picking the big shark. With my newly friended fish named Sid, I returned to Celadon City and found a guy fighting a wall in the game corner. Guess he lost too many times? After absolutely wiping the floor with him, he accidentally reveals a secret basement rocket hideout, so I take out all the trainers in there before finally making it to Giovanni. He started with Meganium, which obviously didn't look good for Sid, so I swapped him out for Vincent, who also really wasn't doing that much, so Barrett came in to deal with the painfully slow death that faced him before Aerith finally came to save the day. I then kept her in for Croconaw, who went down in one Psychic. Then we were faced with a Shuckle, who fell with similar ease, and we won against Giovanni. We picked up the Silph he dropped from his pocket and left to make our way to Lavender Town to make use of it. While leaving the game corner, I noticed this little machine near the entrance that prints your team on your trainer card. And oh, we're coming back for that later. Upon entering the Pokemon Tower, Charmander basically threatens to kill my team, so I've obviously got to teach him a lesson. And his first offence is a Hoot-Hoot. Right. Then came a Raichu, so I sent out Vincent, who not only lost a lot of health due to a Thunderbolt, but also ended up paralysed and fainted. Then out came Barrett to dig, which should have been my initial choice, but whatever. Hindsight is 20/20 after all. Then came an Igglybuff, so I switched back into Sid to crunch its jaws onto the little round pink thing, which ended in its fall. I kept Sid in to deal with the Skitty, and switched to Aerith for his final Pokemon Steelix. I like the starter versus starter dynamic we've had so far, especially because I keep winning. He then flexes that he's just caught a Cubone, which has to be on purpose now. I mean, we grew up together. He knows my stance against catching Pokemon. It cannot be an accident that he keeps bringing up all the kinds he's caught. Whatever, I can't let him distract me on this journey. Upon reaching just before the top, I was surprised to see that the Marowak hadn't been randomised. But I still did the right thing by letting its spirit rest and depart to the afterlife, rather than trapping it in a little ball against its will. Like some people. Some people might do. I fight through all the rocket grunts and make it to Mr. Fuji to save him, but he tells me that there was no need and he was just on a little stroll through the cemetery. You're kidding me! All this effort, all this time, just for you to say nothing's wrong. Oh, whatever. He gives me the Poke Flute, so maybe it wasn't completely useless? Before heading down to Fuchsia City, I decided to kill some wild Pokemon in the nearby grass and get Sid up to level 30 so that he evolves into Sharpedo. Oh, I'm so proud of him. I go down Route 12 to wake up the Snorlax, which turns out to be a Hypno, but that just makes it easier for Sid to kill with Crunch, so I'm not complaining. I make it through the rest of the routes to Fuchsia City and immediately head to the Safari Zone to pick up the Surf HM and teach it to Sid, finally giving him a Stab Water type move. Do you know how embarrassing it was to have a nearly 6-foot-long shark who can't even squirt water? I was basically the laughingstock of the town. I grind up my team a few levels in the nearby grass before making my way to challenge Koga. He first sent out a Pineco, which I retaliated with Vincent's slashing claws. Then came out of Vaporeon, so I switched to Aerith, who took a decent chunk of damage to bite, so Barrett came in to finish it off. Then Sid came in to nearly kill the Corsola, eventually finished off by Aerith. Koga's final Pokemon was a Weeping Bell, which Aerith had no problem killing with a single Psychic. And that gives us our 5th gym badge. Definitely the hardest gym fight so far, though. With our newfound ability to surf outside of battle, I trek all the way back to Pallet Town so I can surf down to Cinnabar Island. You know, maybe Fly would have been pretty nice. Side note, I love Cinnabar Island. Whenever I have to name a place in a game, I pretty much usually always pick Cinnabar. That includes my Animal Crossing island. Speaking of, if you like Animal Crossing, consider watching my Animal Crossing mini-movies. They record entirely using the game's mechanics, and me and my brother had a lot of fun making them. The Behind You series are some of my favourite videos I've ever made. I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description if you want to watch them. I would really appreciate it. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. I came to Cinnabar with one clear goal: fossils. I immediately rush over to the research lab and ask the very weird scientist guy to bring my rocks back to life. I start with a Helix fossil, which turns out to be a Kangaskhan, who I decide to nickname Euphalna after Aerith's mother. Then my old Amber gets around into a Ladian, who I nickname Yuffie. I mean, at least one of them's pretty good. Oh, damn it. This is gonna be fun. I mean, hey, at least it feels pretty good to have a full team. To help with both leveling up the new team members and progressing the story, I decide to go through Silphco and save the president of the company. On my way there, I run into Charman again, who challenges me to yet another fight. Are you not getting tired of losing? He started with the Milotic, so I sent out Aerith to confuse it before switching into Sid to bash his skull into the large fish, eventually taking down Charman's first Pokemon. He then sends out a Snorunt, so I sent out Vincent, who faints to hail damage, but he leaves the Snorunt in yellow health, perfect for Sid to take out. And his Swallow doesn't frighten me. I take it back. I'm sorry, you're terrifying. You definitely frighten me. But even its double teaming shenanigans were no match for Barrett. Sid then comes in to surf the Cubone out of existence, and me and Charman have another starter versus starter face-off where I once again demonstrate my power over him. This once again proves that catching them all isn't the true goal, only training your Pokemon right and treating them with love and respect. I speak to the worker that Charman was probably harassing 5 minutes ago, and he gives me a Jumpluff for saving him. I nickname him Cloud. We once again face off against Giovanni. Honestly, it's barely worth going through it as it was just as easy as the first time. With this victory in our belt, I save the president and he gives me a Master Ball. I need to become champion. I need everyone to know the truth about catching Pokemon. This has only heightened my need to win. Get down, Mr. President, because I'll be in charge next. I open the PC in the nearby Pokemon Center and make the decision to switch out Ladian for Jumpluff. Thank you, Yuffie. You served us well. I mean, not especially, but it was fun to have you on the team, even if it was only for a short while. And just look at Cloud's moveset. He'll make a perfect setup Pokemon. I think this now leaves us with our final team. I know Vincent isn't fully evolved, but I really didn't want to deal with Truon, and he was managing just fine as a Vigoroth for now, so why change it in my opinion? After doing even more grinding to get Ifalna and Cloud matched up with the rest of the team, it's time to take on the 6th gym leader, Sabrina. She started the fight with a Wurmple. A Wurmple. Is she serious? Yeah, that's what I thought would happen. Moving on from that, she then sent out a Swallow, which ended up killing Cloud. I thought his Icy Wind would be a bit stronger than it was. Whoops. Sid came in to finish off, and then came Dragonair. Right after my ice move knowing Pokemon died, Aerith managed to take it out pretty easily, even after Sabrina used a Hyper Potion on it. Then came in Gardevoir. She really thinks she can use my own starter against me? Well, think again. I've got an Angry Sloth that... No matter. Ifalna can bite her way to our victory, which is exactly what she did, forcing Sabrina to give us our 6th gym badge. Wasting no time, we immediately surfed back to Cinnabar Island, retrieved the key from the mansion, and went to challenge Blaine. His first Pokemon was a Slowbro, which was no match for Sid's Jaws, then a Zapdos, who Cloud sent to sleep and blasted with Icy Winds until it nearly died, although Cloud immediately got switched out when Blaine switched for Quilava, who was taken out by Barrett's Dig. This forced Blaine to switch back into Zapdos, who Cloud finally takes out as a personal vengeance. He sends out his final Pokemon Articuno, who's killed by a mix of Vincent's Feint Attacks and Aerith's Psychics, and there's our penultimate gym badge earned. Bill tries to take us to a secluded island, all on our own, which I politely refuse, and go straight to Giovanni's gym fight. I'm sorry, Bill, I hope you understand. His Surskit went down pretty easy, similarly with Snorunt, which he switched in an attempt to save his Grovyle, but that wasn't exactly a difficult opponent either, apart from it annoyingly taking out Sid. His Kabuto's gone in one dig, and his Clefable managed to send both Barrett and Ifalna to sleep, but Vigoroth came in to critical hit Arm Thrust the Clefable down, earning us our 8th and final gym badge. Now all that stands in our way of glory is the Elite Four. Oh, and I guess Charman too. It is just getting really sad now, like maybe we should stop. As we go through all the gates to Pokemon League, I can't help but relive all the memories we've shared together as a team. We've learned, grown, and evolved together, and I don't think I can ask for a better team to challenge the Elite Four with. Oh wait, I forgot Strength, we need to go back, hang on. Anyway, our squad for the league is Gardevoir, who knows Psychic, Confusion, Double Team, and Fire Blast. Ursaring, who knows Cut, Dig, Lick, and Thrash. Vigoroth, who knows Slash, Slack Off, Feint Attack, and Arm Thrust. Sharpedo, who knows Slash, Surf, Skull Bash, and Crunch. Kangaskhan, who knows Shadow Ball, Dizzy Punch, Bite, and Strength. And finally, Jumpluff, who knows Poison Powder, Icy Wind, Sleep Powder, and Leech Seed. After stocking up on probably hundreds of healing items and completely bankrupting myself, it's time to face our final hurdles. Starting with Lorelei, she sends out a Surskit followed by Smoochum, both going down with a single Psychic and Fire Blast respectively, before Vincent comes in to take down her Absol. Victory Bell comes next, which Aerith is more than happy to kill, then one Dizzy Punch from Falna ends the Whismer, meaning that's 1 of 4 League members down. Next up is Bruno. His first Pokemon is a Phanpy, which doesn't scare Sid one bit. But that does. As usual, Barrett's Dig is the MVP for taking out electric types, and the Pikachu never stood a chance. Aerith beat the Machoke very easily, proving that Brain wins over Brawn, and Bruno's Paris is easily taken out by her Fire Blast. Rapidash falls fast to Sid's Surf, which earns us our victory over Bruno. Next comes Agatha, who leads with a Charmander, which is honestly pretty funny. Ifalna then took out her Parasect, and Barrett tried to deal with the Kabutops, only to fall to it. Is this revenge for picking the Helix fossil instead of the Dome fossil? Aerith avenges her fallen teammate in a mix of Cloud and Sid, work to take out a frustrating Mantine. Agatha's Vaporeon then takes out Ifalna, and once again Aerith is there for vengeance, beating Agatha. As we walk our way to Lance, every step is filled with pure determination. He's supposed to be the scariest challenger, but with the squad I had, I was confident that he didn't stand a chance. He first sent out a Hypno, who Cloud poisoned and leech seeded so that Ifalna could Shadow Ball it to death before committing animal abuse against the Noctowl. He then sent out another Hypno, not even Randomiser Lance can avoid his repeat Pokemon, but this one went down just as easily as the first. His Gligar fell to a few Surfs from Sid, and his Blastoise fell to Aerith, and I finally beat Lance, emerging victorious from my battle against the Elite Four. Just as I believe my journey is over, and I feel a weight lifting from my shoulders, Lance tells me of another fight I must complete, a fight against Charman? How could this be? I walk into the Champions Hall, his smirking face almost mocking me as I enter. My mind is flooded with all the times he belittled me for not catching Pokemon. All the times he would flex and flaunt his catching skills and fighting prowess, making me feel like less than. This isn't just a fight anymore. It's my duty to win, and a duty that I shall fulfill. His first Pokemon is a Xatu, which Sid crunches until it falls, and in sticking with his psychic theme, apparently, Charman sends out a level 61 Deoxys. However, he uses a move that doesn't affect Sid. It's strange. He does it again, and again! How ironic! What could have been his most powerful Pokemon fell in 3 simple moves due to his lack of understanding. Spinarak fell in 1 Psychic against my trusty Gardevoir, which causes him to send out his Steelix, which kills Sid, and while Barrett tries his hardest to take it down, he also falls in the process. It's time once again, isn't it, Charman? Starter versus starter. Yet only 1 Fire Blast later, the Steelix is done. I told you my starter was better. Ifalna wastes no time in killing his Feebas, yet she falls to his final Pokemon, Slugma. We are so close. So of course I had to finish off Charman with my Gardevoir, the one who'd been by my side through everything. While she may have been my first Pokemon, she will also be my last in the league. Oh, come on, man. You've ruined my big ending speech. Okay, never mind. That makes up for it. After refusing him his true power for so long, I finally decide to let Vincent evolve. I think he earned it. This is such a rush. After facing so many challenges, it's over. My journey is over. As Oak comes in to scold Charman's stupidity because I'm obviously the favourite, all I can do is bask in my victory. I set out on this journey to prove that you don't need to catch them all to be the very best. And I think I've done that and more. Vincent the Slacking, Barrett the Ursaring, Cloud the Jumpluff, Aerith the Gardevoir, Ifalna the Kangaskhan, and Sid the Sharpedo. Even Yuffie the Ladian played her part. This team is the sole reason that I'm here today. A champion. A Hall of Famer. My legacy forever sealed in the Indigo Plateau. I ignored everyone who stood in my way. I faced every challenge head-on and emerged victorious, displayed my courage and resilience against the naysayers. If you ever feel lost, just remember that there's never one single path to glory. You have to forge your own way, and maybe one day you can also become the very best, like no one ever was. If you've made it to the end of this video, I really appreciate that. This challenge took a lot of time and effort, not just in the playing of the game, but the script writing and the editing, and your support just really means the world. And also, happy 6 years to my channel. I posted my first video here on July 1st, 2019, and I'm not sure when this video will end up coming out, but I'm hoping it's early-ish July, but we'll see. Thank you to MJTV for being the inspiration of this challenge. Maybe you could comment some other challenges you want me to try, and I am more than happy to have a crack at them at some point, because this did still take a really long time. Please do remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you later.